And as you've just heard from Noma there, the Pan-African Parliament expected to hold leadership elections where members of the Parliament are expected to vote in a new bureau, which will consist of 1 president and 4 vice presidents who will represent all 5 regions of the continent. The Parliament yesterday opened its 4th ordinary session of the 5th Pan-African Parliament meeting in Midrand. We're joined now by SABC News Foreign editor Sophie Mokoena to discuss this and other international stories. A very good morning to you and thanks for making the time, Sophie. What can we expect from these upcoming elections as tensions were so high yesterday?
Clearly, we expect a very robust session when they finalize the program to back on elections. But the reality is the regions are really divided. The West Africa has got a candidate. East Africa does have a candidate from South Sudan. You also have the Southern Africa having a candidate from Zimbabwe. And when you look at the West Africa, the candidate is from Mali. The challenges and the political climate and security challenges in Mali, is she going to be able to get support from the new leadership in Mali? When you look at the East Africa, the young person from South Sudan, a very troubled country with lots of challenges, will he be able to lead this institution? And also Zimbabwe, also, you know very well that there are challenges in that country, and therefore the question is, will the leader from the Southern Africa have support from other countries in the region, particularly countries such as South Africa, the neighbor, to pull this one? We don't know. But when you look at balance of power and vote, it will be very difficult for the Southern Africa to pull this one, but also the East Africa region. The West Africa, they can count on all those countries that are in the Sahel region and also in the north, and perhaps pick up some of the countries in the East Africa region. And therefore, it is going to be a very tough one.
Sophie, in all these complexities, why is the rotation of the presidency of the Pan-African Parliament important?
It is important if one is talking about inclusivity, but also legitimacy, and also to make sure that all the regions feel that they are part of this important institution. You can't have a situation where all the time the leader of the Pan-African Parliament is from the Francophone countries, those countries in the West or in the Sahel region or in the North. Are you saying East Africa can't have a leader that they can put forward to lead this institution? Are you saying the Horn of Africa can't do the same? Are you saying Southern Africa can't do the same? And this argument that because South Africa is hosting the Pan-African Parliament, the Southern region must be excluded. For me, it doesn't really demonstrate the will to ensure that democracy prevails. And unfortunately, currently, the problem is that the former president of the Pan-African Parliament has got vested interest, and he is pushing a candidate from West Africa. And that is why parliamentarians in the South are aggrieved, but we don't know. And you would recall that the former president of the Pan-African Parliament, there were allegations of corruption leveled against him. And therefore, the question is he trying to get someone who can come in there and ensure that nothing is done to investigate the previous allegations leveled against him?
And also, Sophie, just quickly, as we're chasing the top of the next hour, while we have you, let's talk about that SADC extraordinary double Troika meeting that's taking place in Mozambique today. What do we know?
The president is going to Mozambique. The double Troika will take a decision in terms of the way forward. You'd recall the last meeting, they agreed that the technocrats must come up with a way forward in terms of how African countries, particularly the region itself, can assist Mozambique. We expect perhaps after the meeting resolutions or a communique that will give a clear indication on the line of march.
Yeah. Also, French President Emmanuel Macron has arrived in Rwanda, very warmly welcomed by his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame, also en route to South Africa tomorrow. What do we know about this story?
It is a very important visit, the one in Rwanda and the one that's expected to happen tomorrow in South Africa, because you know that during the 1994 genocide, countries such as Belgium and Rwanda participated in the genocide and taking a side of the perpetrator. And therefore, last week when African leaders visited France, attending that France-Africa summit, we saw President Kagame visiting a museum in Paris. And during that visit, announcement was made that President Macron, on his way to South Africa, will also go to Rwanda. And high on the agenda will be this terrible history of 1994. And one expects President Macron to apologize, because finally France has admitted that it did support the perpetrators. And therefore we expect France to extend that apology. He arrived this morning. You can see there he visited President Kagame, and he met with President Kagame, also meeting with the whole cabinet. From here, they are going to the Genocide Memorial, where he's going to visit the memorial site, and also he's going to address the victims of the 1994 genocide. And I think later tonight we'll have a comprehensive coverage in terms of the outcome of that meeting. And then he'll fly to South Africa. He's meeting President Cyril Ramaphosa tomorrow. Bilateral political issues, economic issues, and the global issues. You know that next month, early next month, the G7 summit is taking place in UK. France is part of the G7. South Africa will be attending the G7 as we always do since the days of former President Thabo Mbeki, as a country that gets an invitation as one of the influential countries on the continent. And other leaders will be invited from the continent. And I think they will talk about issues such as the COVID-19, and France announcing last week when President Ramaphosa met President Macron that France will support Africa's quest to have capabilities and skills and infrastructure to manufacture vaccines and drugs. And I think South Africa is one country that is going to be able to get that support, including perhaps Ghana, maybe Kenya and Rwanda, but definitely South Africa. The announcement will be how France is going to support South Africa to build capacity or institution, or the current pharmaceutical company in partnership with government to be able to manufacture vaccines and also drugs and therapeutics.
Sophie Mokoena is the foreign editor here at SABC News. Let's take a break.